Hey everyone, Retire on Dividends here, back to give another weekly update to the Defiance Income ETFs. As you can see, I'm on the Defiance website. They still have the announcement of the 1-for-3 reverse stock split, I guess in case you still want to learn about it. However, it's now come and gone. Everything has been completed. It was effective 8/1, so you should now see that in the price. So as you can see, QQQY closing price 38.27. So all historical data should now reflect post reverse split. So that's obviously why this video is launching a little late, because the spreadsheet I have, it involved a lot of changes. But let's get to it. So first off, they recently declared a distribution. They declared it right before, I believe, the split. So the latest distribution, if you could see, what they yielded. QQQY yielded 72%, JEPY 42%, IWMY 73%. SPYT, QQQT, always 20%, and USOY 51%. So looking at the average yields, this is where they stand. So IWMY, back, number one. QQQY is actually ahead of USOY, so that's number 2, and then USOY number 3. JEPY is at 43%, is number 4. So that's what they're yielding, again, on average, month over month. So I take what they're paying divided by the current price and then get their average yield, if you guys were wondering, how much they pay on a consistent basis. Now, obviously, the Defiance tab, this just captures all of the data, which most of this got updated on its own. So if you look, the launch price of these three, let me zoom in for them, it shows now the launch price, $60 for all of them, right? Because it was a 1-for-3 reverse split. So instead of showing that these launched at 20, it's showing that they launched at 60, okay? So now, obviously, all the rest of my calculations are going to be affected as well. What I had to do with the distributions is I had to take them and multiply them by 3. Because if they're going to update the historical price, I have to update the historical distribution as if they paid it 3 times. So I had to take the original distribution and multiply that times 3 for all of them. All of them. So, obviously, that's the only way the numbers are going to make sense. So, even as of the latest one, you can see this is kind of what you're going to be looking at, which is pretty cool, from a viewing standpoint. Obviously, you have only a third of the shares that you had, but look at that, 250 QQQY, JEPY 167, IWMY 264. Now, obviously, they had kind of a rough 2 weeks. So the reverse split couldn't have happened at a better time. I mean, you could see where they're at now. They're already under 40. QQQY is under 40. IWMY is under 40. JEPY standing strong at 44. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right, so let's get into the numbers. So QQQY, let's go to, so their latest distribution, again, it's going to show as 250. Obviously, when they announced it, it was pre-reverse split. But so just keep that in mind. But again, all historical data from the beginning has been updated. So if you look at the latest distribution, which, we didn't cover how the recovery rates went, so I will do that as well. So as you know, last month in the beginning, they almost recovered. They were at 60%. And then it just went haywire, went downhill from there. So needless to say, QQQY produced a negative income. It went down $1.39 for the month of July. So, yeah, not great. And then they paid $2.50. But it started good. On X date, they made 52 cents, which, that goes into the current month. But then the next 2 days, August 1st, August 2nd, they lost 75 cents and then 61 cents in one day. So their month-to-date income right now is negative 84 cents. Obviously, yes, that sucks. However, if you go to the far right, we still have total return. Hopefully this is still accurate. Obviously it should be. But total return, I'm showing they are up 9.24%. I wonder if there should be a website, right, that could double check my numbers. I always want to do that, but I never do. But either way, this is what I'm showing. Total return QQQY is up 9.24%. All right, let's take a look at how JEPY did. So again, recovery rate wise, this is a new field, so we'll see how much they recovered. Again, they were on the way. They recovered 50, 60, up to 67%, up to 71%, even up to 84%. But then, as you know, towards the mid to late July, the market just said, okay, I'm going to poop on you. And then here we go. They pooped on us. So in the end, JEPY, they made negative 53 cents, but they paid $1.67. So that's, yeah, tough month. But then on X date, they did make 29 cents, but the 2 days after, just like QQQY, were crappy. They lost 73 cents and then 19 cents. So month-to-date income so far this month, bad start, negative 63 cents. Total return from inception, it's up 9.92%. This is without DRIP. This is just taking the dividends as cash, okay? Now let's look at IWMY. They had a little different story going there. So the Russell, the small cap stocks, they did better. So they paid 209 obviously the previous month. And if you look at the recovery rate, doing pretty good, right? 31%, up to 67, up to 79, up to 71. And then if you go to the way bottom, right before or right on deck date, they recovered 78% of the previous payment. So that is pretty solid. So they made $1.64 for the month. They did pay out $2.64 though. And also the start of the new month on X date, they made 33 cents. However, just like the other two, August 1st, August 2nd was a nightmare. They lost 66 cents and $1.41. But even doing so, their total return is up 11.68%. So that's pretty good. Again, these funds are just completely different, from all other funds, because the way you look at it, it's so uncomfortable for so many to just look at the price go down and down and down. But they kind of forget that they are actually still making money in the long run. And obviously the massive payments push it down even faster. So, again, you have to sit back, look from the long distance and see, okay, over the long term, are they actually making money, with distributions plus capital gains? Are they making money or not? That's what matters, right? Total return. Are they making you total return or not? And if they are, is it a strategy that you want to stick with? But IWMY seems to be doing the best of the three so far, oddly enough, which, I'm not going to say it's surprising, but it could go either way, right? I always consider JEPY the safer of the bunch, but I think, between the three, that's pretty good competition. You see JEPY up 9.92, QQQY up 9.24, IWMY up 11.68. So again, pretty close. All right, SPYT, again, we consider this the safer one. They always pay 20%. They paid 33 cents last month. And if we go to the bottom, how much did they recover of that? Again, rough month, they recovered none of it. In fact, they recovered negative. So they made negative 12 cents for the month, which obviously sucks. And they paid 33 cents again. But on that same X date, they did make 26, but they lost 23 and then 31. So their month-to-date income so far is negative 28 cents. They're a newer fund, but their total return is 3.55%. So again, is what it is. And then there's obviously I have the total return number, how much it went up. So let me just see what I'm adding here. It's the prior total return plus income. Yep, per share, and then plus F plus the dividend. Okay. All right. Yeah, so that should be working out fine. So yeah, total return on SPYT from inception, 3.55%. Now USOY, how did they do? All right, they paid what? What the heck did they pay? They paid $1.23 the previous month. Did they recover it? Let's scroll to the bottom. They did not. In fact, they recovered negative. Again, it was this horrible month for everyone. Let's just get that out of the, we know this, all right? So they lost 66 cents per share, but they did end up paying 77 cents per share. Okay, so refresh, new month, on X date, they did make 24 cents, but then they lost 19, and then they lost 58 cents. So they're down 53 cents month to date income for the month so far. Now, USOY, unlike the others, they're actually negative total return. So they're down 2.89%. That is not good, right? That is not good. When you see your total return in the negative, it makes you second guess. I did not buy into USOY. However, I'm not going to lie, I did think about it. But seeing this, it makes me pause even more, right? So I'm not going to buy into something that has negative total return, right? Again, it's a brand new fund, so let it do its thing, let it become established, let it run run a few months worth. But as of right now, no desire, at least for me, to buy USOY. All right, last but not least, QQQT. Let me zoom in the appropriate amount here. So they did not make a distribution until recently. So if we scroll down, we go to the month-to-date income. All right, they were doing great. Oh, here we go, July. Shit, right? July is supposed to be good. Happy month. It's summertime. But no. QQQY for the month of July on declaration date, or should I say by declaration date, they lost $1.13. So they started at a terrible time. Not their fault. So they're going to need a few more months to become really established because they are the newest of the bunch. So they lost $1.13. They paid 31 cents. So obviously they're down. Now, on X date, they did make 22 cents. I'm sorry. No, they made 54 cents. And then August 1st, August 2nd got them as well. Again, those are two terrible days. They lost 43 cents, 39 cents. So they're at a month-to-date income of negative 28 cents. Now, even worse, their total return is negative 7.08%. So obviously, like I said, they started a tough time. I'm not going to judge them already, right? It's been like a month and a half because they just launched. It's not their fault with the timing. But, similar to SPYT, this should be a successful fund. But again, what I'm going to do, I think I mentioned this before, is there's so many different monthly index funds that are being offered. I own way too many of them. I've come to realize that. So what I'm going to do is try to just do a basic comparison of the bunch, right? And just see like who's performing better. Maybe I'll own an index in Defiance. Maybe I'll own an index in Roundhill, right? Or maybe I'll own an index in Neos. One of each. Why own all the indexes in all of the funds? Maybe certain indexes perform with different strategies. That's what I'm thinking. But again, it's something I need to look at. Especially, you see numbers like this and you see red days, and that's really how you can see who performs the best, right, in the bear markets. So if you compare all the different, funds, through good times and bad times, whoever performs the best, you can see, okay, what indexes work best with certain strategies, okay? Anyway, enough about that. You don't care about what I'm doing. So let's see the summary sheet. So this is the fund sheet here. So obviously all of this historical data got changed, right? You can see premium income essentially just multiplied by 3. So it shows you, okay, premium income, it's positive if they made money, right? So that would be how much they made. And then in pink, that would be how much they paid out, okay? So if we scroll down, we fast forward, July, this is the month year, by the way, represents the payment, okay? So August was actually mostly for July data, and then July would be for June. So the July payment, they made a decent amount, right? They almost covered what they paid. August, no, not so much. IWMY is the only one that actually made money for the month. That's what I'm showing, which is, it's crazy. But this just goes to show you you're going to get paid no matter what, okay? And that's why these funds, the NAV will go down over time. You know, this is not something new. It's just something we know. But again, this is an income fund. This is a very aggressive income fund. So that's how it works. But unfortunately, you're going to have to always reinvest into these funds. You know, if you don't, your yield on cost will go down drastically in due time. Okay. Now I can show you, I'll show you my yield on cost actually. Now I'm curious. So let me go to my Retire Now tab. I go here. So based on the last payment, my yield on cost, there's JEPY. All right. So JEPY yield on cost 28%, QQQY 46%, IWMY 44%. So yield on cost, it basically takes my cost basis based on the last payment, and then, you know, takes that last payment, multiplies by 12, and then I get my yield on cost. So I'm still yielding above 40% for the big two, right? And then JEPY 28%. So obviously I kind of need to average in, you know, a little more, because based on their last payment, their last payment did yield a lot, right? If we go to the deck date yield, QQQY, what they yield over 70%, JEPY 42%, IWMY 73%. So, you know, you get what I'm saying here. You want to keep your personal yield on cost like within reason. So anyway, so let's see. Let's scroll to the bottom. So capital depreciation from inception. This is just, you know, just taking the number from capital. They lost, like, it's gone down, right? QQQY, it's gone down 21.30. JEPY down 14.49. IWMY down 20.01. SPYT down 67 cents. USOY down 2.77. QQQT down $1.45. However, what you want to keep an eye on is the distributions. Actually, did I update this formula? It goes to 29. Yes, I did. Okay. So the distribution amount should be greater than the capital loss, okay? And on QQQY's part, it is greater, right? It's greater by 642. JEPY, yes, it's greater. It's greater by 658. IWMY is greater. This means they are actually, yes, they're making money. This is why there's total return. SPYT, not much, man. They're only up 99 cents. I know, yes, it's a newer fund. USOY, we already knew, they're in the negative, and QQQT is in the negative, right, due to timing. So now their latest yield, so this is something, you know, semi-new that I added from previous. It shows like what their latest yield is. So if you look at QQQY, again, we said 78%, right? So if I take, I'm showing you how much should you reinvest to like kind of stay somewhat stable with these funds, right? And I'm showing QQQY, you should reinvest 77%. Well, how the hell did you come up with that number, right? So if you look at the formula, right, C35 divided by C33. So C35 is premium income, C33 is distribution, okay? So it's basically dividing the premium that they actually made, how much it's gone up, you know, again, taking out the distributions and then dividing it by the distribution. So it's how much of the premium made, how much did that make up of the distribution, right? And then it's the 100% minus that, it takes out the difference, right? So essentially they made 23% of the distribution. So the difference of that and 100% is 77%. So since they only made 23% of the distribution from inception, I'm showing you would have to reinvest 77% of your distribution in order to keep this somewhat stable. Again, that's just what I'm showing. You guys can disagree with me if you want. Obviously, some are higher. You know, JEPY is a little lower. IWMY, they're both at 69%. SPYT, 40%. You know, USOY and QQQT, they're having a rough go at it, but it is what it is. This is just showing what the true yield would be when all said and done after the reinvestment. But you know, that's not as important. So now we have the launch price and then the price at last payment. Let's see if this is C41 plus C31. Okay, so yeah, so that just shows the drop. All right, so that's still working. Again, I have to kind of make sure my formulas are up to date, and then we just have the latest price. This should be, yeah, using the current. Yep. All right, so yeah, that's the update on the Defiance funds. I do have a status. This just shows you where they stand, outstanding shares. By the way, guys, I don't know if you noticed. I don't know if anyone misses Tress, but they have been hidden. I have hid Tress away from the public because they no longer exist. They have been removed from the website. They have been removed from my file. So poor Tress. I know they had to go. But at least it's less work for me, if you guys care. So who is the biggest fund? Well, it's still QQQY. Number 2 is still IWMY. And number 3 is still JEPY. So the big three, will they always be the big three? Probably, because they have the big yields, the untouchable yields. Some people are not scared that the price goes down. Some people love these funds. Some people say these are the dumbest funds. How could you ever invest in these funds? So I don't know. I'm still a fan again, but I may consider only investing in 1 or 2, for example, right? So if the NASDAQ performs better on Roundhill, then maybe I'll just invest in the NASDAQ through Roundhill, right? Because Roundhill has a different strategy from Defiance. That's something I need to research for myself first. Once I do, I will share it with you guys though. So don't, it's no rush. It's something it's going to take some time, but I'll look at it just using basic numbers and basic data. So yeah, as far as the bottom 3 though, SPYT is the largest of them. USOY, it's growing. QQQT is growing. So these funds, they're probably going to be around. They're probably not going to be a Tress. So I think these will be fine in the long run. As far as any new funds coming out, I'm sure there'll be an IWMT in due time. Again, they just want to make sure the interest is there on SPYT and QQQT. I would actually expect QQQT to catch SPYT eventually. And then IWMT would probably catch SPYT as well, because people would prefer to be, fund like this. Obviously, these are risk averse people. These are people who are willing to take the risk. So they're going to go a little further and say, you know what? NASDAQ and the Russell have a little higher IV. They're going to produce me a little more yield. But in the case of the T's, they actually all produce 20% yield. But instead of getting the full payment, you'll get a higher appreciation. Or depreciation for that matter. Actually, yeah. It'll be good competition, though, to see who performs the best out of SPYT, QQQT, and IWMT. That's why, there should be no rush in getting into any of these funds. I bought, 100 shares of QQQT right before the big drop, right? Because I'm a dumbass, and for some reason, I thought that was a good idea. And here I am. My cost basis sucks. And in the end, once I do this review, I may have to get rid of them anyway. So again, lesson learned. I'm still learning. Old man here, still learning, still making mistakes. It happens, man. It happens to the best of us. We rush things. And I tell myself all the time exactly to not do that. And here I am, I'm doing that, right? But again, you'll learn. I'll learn, hopefully. So that's the update. I hope everyone enjoyed the update. I hope everyone understands how they performed. And I hope everyone's happy with their investments still. I know it's a rough patch right now and things are just horrible, but things will get better, man. Things will get better. The market goes up, the market goes down. That's what happens. There's nothing we could do. These funds, yes, it takes a little, they can't recover. They can't recover to the original price. It's just too much to ask for. But they will always make money. They will always have a distribution. So you have to come up with a strategy that works for you on these funds. These funds are crazy. They are crazy, especially the top 3, man. They are crazy, but I love it. So yeah, that's the update. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, we will try again next week. If you enjoy this content, please always remember to hit the like button. If you have any questions about the new data, obviously post-reverse split, let me know in the comments. Or if you want to have, a longer discussion, yes, we have a Discord. And the link is on my YouTube channel under the links. And yes, it's free to join. So We have a Defiance channel. Feel free to jump in there and let's talk Defiance, all right? If you want to get my attention, you'd have to just tag my name and it'll come up. FYI, if you join the Discord and you get a message from something that looks like me, it is not me. It is a scammer trying to take your Bitcoin away. That's what they do, unfortunately, and it's just going to be a thing forever. But, you know, long term, I am looking to make the Discord, try to avoid things like that, but it is what it is. So, yeah. All right. So that's all I got for today. Again, sorry the video's later than usual, but it's what happens. So I guess I should come up with a keyword. And today's keyword is, bye-bye Tress. Because Tress is gone. It's not in the spreadsheet. It's not on the website anymore. So, and we will miss Tress, right? Because Tress was always the one you made fun of. But now, who are you going to make fun of, right? We got all big boys here, so we're going to have to pick and choose. And maybe USOY, right? By the way, I love, in the latest interview, Sylvia used my name for it, USOY, on Passive Income Investing's interview. So I thought that was pretty cool. So yeah, it is USOY now, per Sylvia. All right, so yeah, if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, you can type in the comments, bye-bye Tress. Or you could say, Tress, I miss you, if you do miss Tress. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great day. I'll talk to you later.